for joining us again on the Buzzworthy Women podcast. Today, I am super excited to introduce you to our guest, Josephine Owusu. Josephine is a business strategist for female purpose-driven coaches, content creators, and creative entrepreneurs, and the founder of the Owusu Collective. Josephine, welcome on the show.
Hello, Tori. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
You
so
know,
excited to be here.
as many people can probably relate, your last name is a mouthful. So, like we talked before we hit record, it was like, okay, let's make sure that we get this right. So, did I do okay?
You did great. Don't worry,
Okay.
you did fine.
So, tell us about your company and the business that you run.
Okay, so I'm the founder of the Owusu Collective, and I provide strategic services, usually one-to-one for clients. And what we do is we do strategic planning. And I've got a framework that I go through where it helps them to overcome overwhelm and burnout and to get their time back, increase revenue, and build a business which allows them to live the life on their terms. I'm really passionate about not only building a successful business, but building a business which aligns with what your actual life goals are as well.
That is so important because like you said, it's not just about building a successful business, it's about building a business that aligns with your goals and your needs and the lifestyle that you want to have. And I think that's a missing piece that a lot of people don't recognize or at least don't implement when they start a business. So I love that that's your focus. And you primarily focus on female purpose-driven owners,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. And the reason being is because I think that, men are great, but I feel that there's a lot of women who just come up with different issues where it's mindset issues, confidence. And I just find that I just want to empower women so that they can also realize, okay, I can make some money, I can grow a business that I love, and also just build their confidence as well. So I
Right.
just want to empower women.
I love that. I obviously, with the Buzzworthy Women podcast, love to focus on the female businesses and female business owners because I agree. It's all about empowering our sisters, if you will,
Yes.
and I always talk to friends of mine who are business owners and women, and we're like, let's support each other. Why work against each other when we can work with each other to help grow and succeed? It's not just for our benefit, it's for the benefit of others, right? The people that we're helping and serving, and for the generations to come. So I love that, we have that common focus on really empowering women to be successful and see the success that they can have as an entrepreneur or business owner.
I completely agree. I think the worst thing to see is a woman who doesn't want to help a woman, to be honest. I
Yeah.
we've all been there where we've worked in companies and you've had that woman who's at the top of her game, and for some reason, because she feels intimidated or she's scared that someone's going to come and take her role, instead of trying to help other women, she's trying to keep them all down and keep them in their place. And I
Yeah.
am not about that. I personally believe that there's space for everyone because we're all unique and we all do things differently. So even if there's, for example, another business strategist, that business strategist cannot do things the same way that I do things, and they don't have the same experience and life experience that I have. So yeah.
100% agree. So talk about how you structured your business to be focused on strategy and to help specifically these coaches and creators and entrepreneurs.
So I love this question because I actually started my business as a VA, a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And so I started it as a side hustle. And then once I went straight into my business, I was furloughed during lockdown. And
Mm.
then I decided, okay, I'm going to do this business as a virtual assistant. A few months into it, one of my clients and friends, she was the one who actually made me realize that strategy was one of my gifts. So I actually didn't realize this. And so she used to introduce me to people as Josephine is an amazing strategist. And I asked her one day, why do you keep on introducing me as an amazing strategist? And she said, because you are. And then she made me take the Clifton Strengths Finder test.
Yes.
And I took it. And can you believe that 3 out of my top 5 were strategic and my number one was strategic? So I was mind blown. And so I didn't realize that this was something that I was doing all along. I just didn't have a name for it. People would always come and ask me for advice because I could see the gaps in
Right.
different things. And so I decided to pivot my business. And ever since then, as I've been working with clients, I pinch myself and I just think, wow, I get to do this because it comes easy. And sometimes because something comes easy, we think that we shouldn't be doing it or we shouldn't be charging a
Mm-hmm.
lot for it. But that's when you should be doing it and charging more for it because you're an expert in it. You're a natural, it's something that you're natural with. And I realized that a lot of people struggle with strategy, but it comes easy to me and I can help them. So that's where that happens. And then in terms of that my actual target audience, the reason why I decided to work with content coaches, content creators, and creative entrepreneurs is my background is in the TV industry. So I used to work for Cartoon Network and HBO and I've worked in production. So I've always worked with creatives. I'm a creative myself, but not in a typical sense.
Yeah.
And so I'm creative with, I have lots of ideas, and then I usually give it to someone else to execute it. But I've always loved working with creatives, and some of my clients that I've worked with have been coaches, and I'm passionate about learning and seeing people grow, and I love memberships and that kind of thing. So that's the reason why I decided to, yeah, to focus on them. And then content creators, I follow a lot of content creators. So not a lot of business people might admit this, but yeah, I love a lot of YouTubers and content creators. And I just thought, yeah, I think that's why I'm going to focus
Well, and
on
I
them.
I love that you take your experience in like these big companies, right? Like H you said HBO
Yeah. And Cartoon Network,
and Cartoon
CNN as
Network.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are huge brands and huge companies that you have worked with. And so how do you help like the entrepreneur, right? So you're not working with these big networks, you're not working with, $1 million budgets, right? So how do you help them with the strategy piece of it to grow their business as an entrepreneur to get them to a place of success to meet their lifestyle, right? It's not about numbers, it's not about all that, but it's what is their growth, what's their success point.
So the good thing about my experience is not only have I worked with these multi-billion-dollar businesses, but I've also worked with startups as well. So I've worked with small startups, I've worked with startups where they've had investment. So I've been able to see it from different perspectives. And so I've pulled all the good things from each one.
Right.
And with my clients, the first place that we start is I've got this phrase, start with the end in mind.
Mm,
So the first thing that we start with is visualize. What
mm,
is your vision for your life? Not even what is your vision for your business. What is your
right.
vision for your life? And
Yeah.
then we use that to now look at, okay, and then what is your vision for your business and how do these align as well?
Hmm.
And then from a financial aspect, what how much money do you want to make to be able to
Right.
afford this lifestyle and also have this business and kind of work the hours that you want to make? And one thing that I love is my experience in production, working at Cartoon Network especially, has really kind of fed into my business because we always had to. I worked in promo production, and so for anyone who's not familiar with that industry, promo production is basically when you have a show. It's the promotional, they're kind of like adverts, but they're not adverts.
Okay.
And so it's the promotional piece, those 30-second, 1 minute pieces that promote the show or some kind
Ah,
of special that they have. And so we would always, the first thing that we would ask is, when is it going to go live on television?
mm,
And then from then, we reverse engineer it. We work backwards. We figure out the key milestones. You need this at
right.
this point and this at this point. And that's what I do with my clients.
Mm,
So we start with the end in mind. We start with the vision. So, for example, what do you want? If we're just looking even in the next 12 months, what do you want to achieve? in your life and in your business in the next 12 months. And then we will kind of go back, we'll break it down by quarter. Okay, so we need to
Yeah.
look at these four things each quarter. And then each quarter, then we'll hone in, we'll look at each month, we'll create goals that tie in to that quarterly goal. And
Yeah.
so it's all about reverse engineering it and figuring out, okay, what key milestones do I need to achieve for me to be able to hit that goal by in 12 months' time? Yeah.
Yeah. And do you, since you work with a lot of the same people in similar industries, do you see a lot of similar kind of milestones? Like, we need to do this type of a approach for growing your business. Like, is it video or is it, content specific towards a topic? Or is there some commonality between all the businesses that you work with?
Yes, I one of the things that does come up a lot recently is actually visibility
Mm,
and okay, how are we getting visible, marketing, even me myself, because my business was started purely on referrals.
yeah.
And so now one of my goals this year is visibility, really ramping that up. And so the key thing that what we do is we look at where are your audience, where are your target audience, your target clients, and
Mm,
then what is the type of content that you like to create?
right.
Because if you are creating content that you really hate, it's most likely you are not going to stick at it. You
Yeah.
are going to be inconsistent and you will make excuses every time.
Right.
So I know before when we were chatting, I mentioned to you that I'd launched my YouTube channel. And the reason being is because one of my strategies for this year is video, because I feel
Yeah.
like the future's video. I come from a video content where we create videos.
Absolutely.
So, and I
Yeah.
believe that the future is video. And so I have decided, I've been very intentional, and I said, I'm starting my YouTube channel. And I know that it's something that I'm passionate about. It's a platform that I'm passionate about. And so I actually enjoy creating the content for it. Another thing that I love doing is podcast guesting. And
Yeah.
so that's why I'm here today. And so what I do with my clients is we look at what are the platforms that work for you? Where are your ideal clients? Where
Hmm.
are they?
Yeah.
And because you need to be there. And then also let's figure out what is the best medium for you. Some people are great writers, they love writing. So they might be doing more blog posts. They
Right.
might be, do you understand? They'll have their email marketing, they have that down to a T. Some people do not want to appear on video, but they love podcasting. And
Yeah.
so it's really finding what works for you. I know, and a lot of my clients have said, Josephine, you are great on video, you are great on podcast interviews. And so that's what you need to be focusing on.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think, you're on the right track for yourself, right? With visibility and for your clients, advising them, that visibility for sure, podcasting and video are the way of the future, right? I mean, there's so
Yeah,
much content that is being created in a video format, whether it's long form, short form, reels, whatever it is, that's just how consumers are consuming content right now.
yeah,
And, that's going to lead them to, a website or a landing page or a long form content, whatever it might be. But that's kind of like the entry point at this state of where we are in business. So for sure that visibility piece is key, not only for yourself but for your clients. And I love that that's part of your strategy, because as a marketer, that's that's what I advise as well. For marketing any business, that's one of the first things we look at is the visibility side of things, and how can we create content to make you more visible as a business owner, or the product or service more visible. So I love
yes,
that.
I completely agree.
So, what are some of the lessons that you've learned in growing your business that I'm sure I know as an entrepreneur and business owner myself that, it's a journey, right? It's not always like I've gotten to this point, I figured it all out, we're just smooth sailing from here. So, what are some of the lessons that you've learned in your business that you're helping to apply for your clients' growth as well?
So one thing I'm passionate about is diversifying income in the business. So
Hmm.
multiple streams of income.
Love
And
that.
I'm passionate about that, building that up in your personal life and in your business life.
Yeah.
And an example is I had a client where they were actually more than 50, they were taking up more than 50% of my time. And in terms of my revenue, it was more than 50%. And then once they had a restructure and they didn't have budget for me anymore, I
Yeah.
lost quite a big chunk of my revenue. So one
Right.
thing I always encourage my clients is that you should never have a client that is more than 50%. To be honest,
Mm.
try and even make it 25%, if anything. We
Yeah.
don't want any client to have that much power over your business, basically,
Hmm.
from a time perspective, from a revenue perspective, because then it can also turn into that instead, even though you've got your own business, it can turn into an employer slash employee relationship. And we don't want that. That is one big thing that I always advise my clients because I have experienced it and it's not nice.
What I love as business owners is that it's almost like we come first, right? Like we
Yeah,
trial these things, we go through the hardships so that we can help the people that we work with not go through those things, right? Like save them the time and the energy and the stress that we've experienced because, it's like I come from a place of service, right? Like I want to help people and be of service to them so that they can be successful and learn from my, shortcomings or whatever it might be. I don't say failures because I don't think anything's a failure, but
agreed.
learning from experiences and helping others is so important. So I love that you apply that, specifically for your clients because it's so important.
100%. And even just adding to what you've just said, one thing that I have learned as well is that with us business owners, because we are service based owners and we love to serve our clients, I found that, I don't know about you, but at the beginning of my business, I thought because I'd come from working in corporate and having a full-time job, I thought that I had to book out clients for all of my time.
Mm,
And that no business owner should be at 100% capacity with their clients.
yeah.
What I always tell my clients is we need to carve out CEO time. Very
Yes.
important. So whether it's you have half a day a week, or a few hours a week, or 1 day a week, whatever works for you and your schedule, I think it's very important that we carve out CEO time. That's where you have that time to think strategically
Yeah.
about your business, to really think about, okay, where are we taking the business next? What do I need to do? If there's any things that you need to do to move the business forward, basically.
Right.
Another thing is even to think creatively, to have
Mm,
that space, very important. So sometimes it may seem counterintuitive where it's like, okay, I'm going for a walk or I'm doing something completely different to my work. I encourage that. I
yeah.
find that my best creative ideas, they come when I'm in the shower, when I'm going for a walk, when I'm listening to a podcast, when I'm watching a show. It's
Yeah.
never usually at my desk. And
Hmm.
so it's something that I encourage all of my clients that we need to carve out CEO time. We also need to make sure that you are looking after your health and your wellness. I have learned this myself. Most of us have experienced this where burnout is real.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you are burnt out, your body decides to just collapse and you can't do the work, it's going to make your business suffer. It's
Hmm.
better that you look after yourself
Right.
and you pay attention to the signs
Hmm.
and so that you are the best person, because when we're burnt out, we can't really give our best. We can't be the best to our clients. And so I have, yeah, from experience, I've actually created a strand in my framework where we focus on CEO time, where we focus on, okay, what tasks can you delegate? What can you outsource? What can be stopped? And what are the tasks that only you can do, which focus on your genius zone? The
Yeah.
tasks which don't drain you, but
Yeah.
light you up.
Yeah.
And then you kind of marry that with the needle moving tasks, the things that are going to move your business forward.
Hmm.
So that's what I would say.
Well, and as you're talking about this, this is so I, I'm thinking about all the women, right? Like we want to help women, female business owners. That's who we're talking to. And this is something that's so common with us women because we try to be all things to all people. Either you're
Yes.
a mother or a wife, and you give your time and your energy and your emotion and all of this to your family and to your work. And so unless you carve out that specific time, that CEO time, to be creative, to work on your business, not in your business, to have self-care, to go for a walk, to just like be mindful and quiet with yourself, like you said, if you don't do that, you can't give 100% to everything else that you're doing because you yourself is you're so drained. And so I think
Yeah.
that's something that our listeners need to hear. As women, it's okay to take that time to be quiet or to take that time for yourself, because you're only going to be better or move further along by doing that. So I think that's hugely important for people to hear.
Thank you. I completely agree. You can't pour from an empty cup. And
Hmm.
so for us to be able to give the best to our clients, we need to make sure we put ourselves first. And as women, we usually don't do that. We usually put everyone else first. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
so passionate about it.
Oh yeah, so true. We speak from experience.
Yes.
So, Josephine, I mean, you've shared some amazing insight and some great pieces of information. I want to see if you can kind of give us one final piece of advice for our female business owners and entrepreneurs out there. What would that piece of advice be?
Ooh, I would say get really clear on the type of business that you want to build up. Be clear on how the kind of life you want to live. So, for example, even if you look at I do a task with my clients where we a visualization exercise where I take them through their dream day.
Yeah,
And I want you to really just have a think about what would my dream day look like, and kind of compare that with how your days are right now
yeah,
and what your energy levels are like. Because sometimes we think that we're meant to, because we have a business, we have to work 5 days a week. But your dream might be, I want to work 3 days a week, but still be making lots of revenue.
yeah,
And just so that I can spend time with my family or
yeah.
and my friends and just have, some me time, that kind of thing. So I would say look at what kind of life do you want to design, because that will determine the types of the services that you'll be offering.
Yeah.
Because if, for example, you want to work 3 days a week, then you might need to have a higher ticket offer and less clients
Yeah.
to be able to achieve that. And also you would create a package which allows you to create a schedule that allows you to work 3 days a week. So, as I said, start with the end in mind, look at what kind of life do I want to build, and then how does that feed into the type of business and what my ideal day would look like. And then does that line up with the services that I'm providing?
So amazing. Definitely. I mean, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. How can people get in touch with you and connect with you so that they can start, tapping into your genius?
Yes, so they can you can go to my website. It's www.theowusucollective.com. And don't worry, you will have the links and everything.
Yes.
So you've got that. I'm on Instagram at I am Josephine Owusu. I'm also on YouTube, and
Yes.
that is, I think it's Josephine Owusu Strategist. Yeah,
We'll link it
something like
below.
that.
Don't
We'll
worry.
link it below. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I'm on there, and then also LinkedIn. So
Love it.
LinkedIn, I'm be more visible on LinkedIn. So come and connect with me there. I'm always in my DMs. So please connect with me and let me know that you listen to me on this podcast. And yeah, we can talk.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest. I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to not only just speak with you, to meet you, and to connect with you and start building this wonderful friendship with you. So thank you for being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me, Tori. I've really enjoyed this. I could speak with you for hours.